Vicky, they are coming. After I moved from Canada to Sweden with my dog Vicky and bought a cottage to be our forever home, we survived our first winter. It was longer and colder than usual, but we really loved it. And now there is more sunlight and more warmth. Spring has arrived in Sweden. Earlier, I have planted an apple tree in my garden. There was plenty of feedback in the comments that I need 2 trees for pollination, so I planted a second tree. With the new season, there are new chores. We are having some really nice days of sunshine and warmth, and it really is time to go into the garden and get a start there. And although I am 47 years old, there are still so many things that I'm doing for the first time, like trimming a hedge. And there is another project that I had started a while ago, but I haven't finished yet. Let's get some sandpaper to move forward with that. My dog Vicky loves to stay close and be part of everything, or at least be around and chill. I had taken out the window a little while ago because of a broken pane. In the meantime, I went to a glazier and had them cut new glass. I didn't film that because I'm really hesitant when it comes to filming strangers. For now, I remove the old window panes. Later, I will sand the frame, then prime and paint it. I was so lucky that we had a stretch of warm days, and it was so much fun just to be outside in the spring sun. Now, let me ask you something. I know there are a lot of people out there that have done woodwork before, and I'm honest with you, I am not very experienced. When it comes to sanding, and my goal is to prime and paint the wood later, is there anything I need to know? Any wisdom you can share with me? You will see me doing it in a moment, but I don't believe it's a job well done. The frame is now primed, and you may wonder why I put the glass in before painting it. But the situation is that I will be going on a trip the next day for about a week, and I needed the window installed again. Later, however, the trip got delayed by 1 day, and I was even able to apply 1 coat of paint. And before heading out on that trip, I had one more thing to do. I promised my neighbor to fix the tires of the kid's bike, but I was lucky and they didn't have a hole in the tube. They just needed air. After that, I bought a bigger bicycle air pump because with the small one I'm using here, it is just exhausting. In the meantime, an older gentleman knocked on my door. He is a member of the local Orientierungsclub, an orienteering club, and their youth branch has a race the following night. He wanted to give me a heads up that I will see very bright headlamps when they race through the forest. And with my house being adjacent, he didn't want me to be concerned. He had a laugh when he said that they shouldn't walk by my house, and if they did, they took a wrong turn. I, however, hope that they do take a wrong turn and there is some action outside. Let's see. Vicky, they're coming. I got lucky. Two of them took a wrong turn. And I really enjoyed hiding behind my window in the dark, all lights turned off, and just watching. And now my trip begins. My new friend Marcus, who lives nearby, had bought a property in central Sweden a few years ago. He wants to sell it this summer and needed to go up there and do some garden work. And guess what? After the winter, where I stayed home for most of the time, I happily offered to join him and breathe the air of central Sweden. From where we live, it's about 500 kilometers. That's 300 miles. We wanted to take our time and do some sightseeing in between. Our first stop will be a rune stone that is famous for having the longest known runic inscription in stone. It is believed to be carved around the year 800 in the early Viking age.
In memory of Vemod stand these runes, and Varan wrote them, the father in memory of his dead son. I tell the young people the tale which the two war booties were, 12 tunes taken as war booty, both together from man to man. This I tell second, who 9 generations ago lost his life with the Reed Goths, and he died with them because of his offences. Theodric the Bold, king of sea warriors, ruled over Reed sea shores. Now sits he armed on his Gothic horse, shield strapped, prince of Meerings. That I tell the 12th, where the horse of Gun, I a steed of the Valkyrie, the wolf sees food on the battlefield, where 20 kings lie. This I tell the 13th, which 20 kings sat on Shelland for 4 winters, with 4 names, born to 4 brothers, 5 Valkers, sons of Roduli, 5 Ridulis, sons of Rugulv, 5 Heisels, son of Hord, to be Gunmund's son or Björn. I tell the young people the tale which of the kinsman of Ingvald was revenged by wife's sacrifice. I tell the young people the tale to which young warrior a kinsman is born. Viking it is. He could crush a giant. Villain it is. I tell the young people the tale. Thor, Sibby of V, 90 years of age, begot a son.
The church right next to it is a pilgrim's destination, which by foot is a one-day pilgrimage from the town of Vadstena nearby. Once you reach your destination here at the church, you can get a stamp to prove your pilgrimage. I didn't do the pilgrimage, but I wanted to show the stamp to you, which has the picture of the rune stone on it. Next, we drove to Torken Nature Reserve, which is a lake that is a hot spot for birds. We could also stay there overnight for free, although a donation is appreciated. We arrived in the evening, an hour before it got dark, enough time to explore the area on a dog walk.
Welcome to the Bird Lake Torken and Naturum Torken Visitor Center. Lake Torken is one of the most famous bird lakes in Sweden. 278 species of birds have been observed at the lake. The lake is very shallow, partly covered with large reed beds. It is surrounded by shore meadows and forests of rich biodiversity. The area was protected as nature reserve in 1975. The Naturum building is unique, designed by Vingård's architects and covered by reed harvested in Lake Torken. Naturum is open every day from spring to fall and for certain events wintertime. Entrance is free. There is an exhibition about nature and culture around Lake Torken, a film, a small shop, and nature guides at your service. Naturum Torken also arranges lectures, guided tours, bird watching, bird ringing, and catching invertebrates in the water. During spring and fall, hundreds of school groups are treated to superb hands-on outdoor education.
There is an adventure path for children, perfect for my four-legged kid and me to continue our walk. If you are looking for a destination and bring your kids, this is a really nice one. The next day, we arrived at Marcus's house, which is just outside of Sunne. We didn't film much of the work we did, but Marcus filmed the inside of the house, and I asked him if I could show it, so you get an idea of it. I have the feeling that some of you might be interested in knowing how much he wants to sell it for. Starting price for the Swedish bidding process will be 400,000 Swedish crowns. That's 44,000 US dollars, $60,000 Canadian, and 37,000 euros. If you were interested in buying a fixer-upper on a 6,000 square meter property, that's about 1.5 acres, then I can forward your email to Marcus. I have an email address in the video description. The house is outside of Sunne, a town along Lake Viking, with an amazing water park, a golf course, a bike park, a spa hotel, and not too far from a ski tunnel where you can cross-country ski year-round. Close to the house is lake access with a bathing place by a small lighthouse. There are 2 bus stops nearby as well. It is a 4-hour drive to Gothenburg. It is only a 1.5-hour drive to Norway and a 3-hour drive to its capital, Oslo. The paperwork will be handled by a local realtor. Keep in mind, it's a fixer-upper. That was a really nice getaway trip. While driving home, however, I received a text from my neighbor that they heard strange noises coming from my property and sending me a photo. I looked at it and immediately stopped because I couldn't believe it. I mean, yes, I live right by the forest, but really? So, what have we got? Is that a sled? Aluminum. Weird, eh? What else have we got? Ooh, nice. Kit Kat. I think somebody opened it already and ate one. I just needed a rest before getting to work. I mentioned it a few times before in other videos that moving from Canada to Sweden with 2 checked bags, 1 piece of hand luggage and a dog crate means that now I need to buy everything. I got a good deal though on the wheelbarrow. New, 150 Swedish crowns, that's not even $20 or 20 euros. But it seems to be a Scandinavian thing that you have to assemble everything yourself, like IKEA furniture and Lego. And what a treat to do that outside in the evening sun. And then we got hit by a storm that lasted 3 days. After 3 days of constant wind and heavy gusts, many trees with weak roots or other issues had fallen over. Here is one. And one spot in the shade of the forest is Vicky's most favorite these days. Free ice cream with forest flavor.